I'm Eileen Nash. Join me every week as we meet interesting people who will teach you new, creative ways to manage stress and embrace vitality in your life. Grab a cup of tea and join me for this adventure. During today's episode, we're gathering in Red Thread Circle at the Cosmic Cowgirls Ranch. We'll be doing what we do best, visioning and taking the insights straight into a simple painting process. Hi, welcome to the show today, Restore for Caring Souls. My guest today is Shiloh Sophia McLeod, an intentional creativity teacher and coach. And she runs her own school of Color of Woman and has taught at the UN and at universities, has many teachers that she's trained all around the world. Welcome, Shiloh.
Thank you, Eileen, and thank you so much for being here with us to have this really juicy topic that Eileen has brought to our attention today about those who serve others. So I feel honored to be here in the service of creativity.
Right. So today we're going to talk about self-nurturing, because that's one of the sort of main goals that I'm creating this TV show for. I'm a nurse, as you know. I have observed myself and other people who care about others and give a lot to other people, that they neglect their own self. If your ultimate goal is that you actually do want to help other people, you've got to take care of yourself first. You can't put it last. Would you like to lead us off with a poem about self-nurturing?
Sure, I would. And also just this, what occurred to me when you brought up the topic is how this sort of built-in sense of glory around overgiving. And part of what needs to be resolved, I feel, is the belief patterns that we have on that giving all that we've got or being the best that we can be. These sort of phrases which come to dominate our experience, which actually in turn then end up creating the experience of never being enough. So it's a catch. And just that very thought of giving all that you've got causes for an emptiness.
Yes.
And men and women both do this. Particularly women, though, are willing to empty themselves out before they'll restore and renew themselves.
And when you can give from a place of fullness, you're helping someone else, but you're staying sort of replenished so that you can continue on with your life, happy and healthy.
So our thought around nurturing today was also just about healing the overgiver in you, right? Of what if just in this brief time together, you could actually move from this experience and have a sense of part of that being healed for yourself. Because as soon as that starts to happen, life starts to change. Sometimes there's some pushback, isn't there?
Yes, there's.
As people around you expect you to continue to perform the way you've been performing. And the thing is, life is not a performance. This isn't a performance. We're a couple friends sitting here making an offering to you from the overflow of our hearts. But we only do that when we have taken the time to nurture ourselves. Yeah. So the poem that popped out of my book, Tea with the Midnight Muse, is called The Healing Fields. How does healing happen? Is it forgetting a little at a time that which hurts and waking up one morning just feeling a little bit lighter? Is it finally forgiving yourself and the world by understanding somehow we are all wounded with you? Is it realizing the world is whole after all? Or accepting the world is broken open and does have need of your love? Is it noticing a whole day, a week, or a month has gone by without beating yourself up in the old ways that have held you back? Is it being struck by compassion so tender you know it must belong to the beloved, since you don't recognize this kindness in yourself? Is it realizing that this is just how it is right now, and somehow oddly, unreasonably, it's not really personal or about you at all? This is our human story that we're creating together. I wonder, can we get free enough to create in it with true personal intention? Is it not letting your wounded songs hold you back from that which sings to you in your deepest soul cave? Is it allowing shadow work and light work to coexist without striving for either one to be greater or good or bad? Is it being willing to lean into your resistances until the edge of your hardened places creates tender spaces? Is it being willing to surrender your cynicism and complacency even when you know the ridiculousness of the harm going on? Is it opening your heart, again, wider still, to a new face, a new heart, a new chance, even in this same old life? What if nothing is as you thought it would be or have believed? It might be something even better. I don't know. Maybe. Each one of these stories we have talked about are fields of energy within us. Will you walk to the edge of your cave and just wave as we walk by, beckoning you? Or will you join us in the healing fields of these wild flowers?
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Because if you can come and wave at the edge of your cave, I'd like for you to join us. And one of the things that we do as the intentional creativity artists, and when we lead circles and call circles, is that we use something we call the red thread circle. So this comes out of a legend. There are many legends about the red thread in all the major religions, but one of the ones that our tribe likes to use comes from an ancient Chinese legend that all of us are connected by a red thread from even before the time we were born. And the thread may stretch or pull, but it will never break. And one of the important things that's sort of a principle with the red thread circle, is that, and we're going to have you be a part of it, it's a virtual red thread, is that while we'll have it and we'll pass it to each other, and you just wrap a little bit around your wrist, you can see the connection, and you want to offer it out to everyone.
Sending this through the cosmos to you. Imagine it's flying through space until it lands right in your own hands.
And the thing about the thread is, while we're connected, there's only your piece that you need to take care of. So when you're doing your artwork or your intuition work, just remember that you're held in red thread circle with us, but you only need to take care of your part. So, and these are special scissors.
These are Grandma Eden scissors.
Sweet.
And it's sovereignty and unity. So we each hold our piece and we're responsible for it. But we're united in that we're connected with others who are also taking responsibility for their sovereignty. So there's that togetherness and also that unique distinction.
One thing I want to say, I'm not a therapist. This work is really powerful, but it's your work. There's something about it. It won't go further than what you need.
Yeah, that's what's been amazing, because we've been researching the impacts of intentional creativity over the 20 years I've been working with it. And it seems like, because there's form, as in the paper or the canvas, and a time constraint, that which is ready to be brought up and healed and nurtured will arise. But usually not more gets unpacked than can be dealt with inside of the finite framework. And so people go as deep as they're ready to go, and then can kind of wrap it up by the end. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, and it's still fun. And so today Shiloh is going to show us on some watercolor paper some of her process.
Yes. We were talking about what would be of benefit to all of you And Lean mentioned this class that we had when we were in Paris together, where I did a really original organic shape that really started my career off. And so I thought we would do that with you as an exercise of practicing self-nurturing.
I love that.
That sound good? We also, I know that in a lot of your programs, you're working with different creatives and different healers. And so you're going to be working with awesome different materials. So I thought we could also talk a little bit about materials that might be helpful for your viewers.
It doesn't take that many types of materials. Sharpies for sure. A few, just even 3 to 4 colors of a small acrylic paints that just draw you or speak to your heart. Watercolor paper. It comes in single sheets and in little booklets. And I used to be intimidated at the art store. I was afraid of the people who worked there. I didn't know what to ask. And so on my blog, you will see lists of supplies.
There's like 3 different grades that you could find depending on where you are globally in the world. But we use golden a lot if you're going to do a lot of really fine painting because they are just amazing, and particularly this color, quinacridone nickel azogold. There's also, just like at Mark Michaels and Craft Stars, and these are like $14 or $20.
Yeah, they're
right?
expensive.
There's Americana. These are fantastic. And these are like $2, $2 to $3. And then there's a Liquitex soft body. So these are all liquid acrylics, highest, middle, lowest. Liquitex, Americana, and golden. And depending on what I'm working with, I use them all. You could do this process that we're doing right now. If you just have paper and pens at home, you could just work with a piece of paper and a ballpoint pen and then come back later and add some color, which I'll do. You could also, at one point, get a nice piece of watercolor paper, which is it's called 140-pound watercolor paper, which is kind of stiff. So whatever you have to work with. So why don't you lead them in a little image of accessing a place they need to nurture. Like a little visioning, because sometimes we vision to get that information.
All right, I'd like for you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor or your sit bones on the chair. And when you blow that breath out, I want you to send a sort of a light cord down from your body, as big as your body, right straight down through the ground, through your feet, into the earth. Pull up some of that beautiful earth energy. And then imagine the sun over your head, beaming down. Yeah, that light coming into the top of your head, down through your body, through your eyes, so that you can see the truth. The light comes into your ears so you can hear the truth. Comes into your mouth and throat so that you can speak the truth. It comes into your heart. So you've got all this light flooding into you, through your body. Bring it down to your hips and down to your feet. And then just see, are there any places, just sort of ask yourself, are there any places that maybe need a little attention, maybe feel a little crinkly? So if you can identify like maybe a little hurt place, I'd like for you to ask it. So what do you have to tell me? Why do I notice you right now? And depending upon what you saw, think that it appears in your hand. And if you could ask it, what is it you're trying to tell me? And I'm even gonna listen. Thank you. I got a nice message.
Oh, good.
So come back into the room. Feel your feet on the ground or your seat in the chair. And now, whatever you saw, Shiloh, would you like to lead us in this process?
Yeah, so again, you could just work on a piece of paper and just a pen. And what we're gonna do is, I'd love for you to just draw the little shape that you saw. So yours will be whatever that is for you. Mine just looks like that.
Actually, mine was a lot like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you break it down. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put sort of an ancient mother. Can you show your image? We're gonna put a very feminine, organic, nurturing, sort of a remothering image here for you. And if that's not something you're familiar with, today is your day to know that images like this have been around for 250 to 500,000 years. There's been images of the feminine. So you're gonna do a very organic, your version of a nurturing mother. She could have breasts or not, and you're just coming around. And the point is to have your arm make this rounding, spiraling shape. And sometimes there may be a little curve or something else that occurs. Just follow the brush, let it do what the pen, let it do whatever it wants to do. And you've made this shape, and there's this uncoiling feeling that happens in your arm while you're drawing it, however small it is, and go as long as you want. And if you want to put in a simple face, I'm going to just do one little eye, another little eye, a little crescent moon nose, a little crescent moon mouth, a couple eyebrows, and then just little bits for ears so that she can hear us. And you can go as far as you want. You can add some nipples if you want. You can add her lap. And then if there's anything else you need to do to what you saw that needs nurturing,
Right.
then you can go ahead and work with that. And sometimes intuitive messages come through too. Like, I wasn't thinking about this, but I just recently went through a whole thing with a breast lump that is not cancerous, but I've been focusing on this lump, that I'm working with for a really long time, and I didn't intend it for it to be in that breast, but in fact it is, and there it is, and there you have it. But that wasn't what I was dealing with. So something actually, sometimes it comes up in this really unexpected space.
Right.
Right?
Because you were open.
Yeah, because this was actually representing digestion. That was my belly button. It was representing digestion and how I digest energy and information and needing nurturing around how to process the United States and what's going on in the world and stuff like that. So anyway, you can see how there's all these connections. You can also look at where was it smooth and where was there turbulence, or if your pen gets jagged at a certain place, what is that? Depending on how much you want to get into it, you can also add some, if you have some scars or some other wounds that you're dealing with, you can bring those in too. And for those of you who want to go to another level, just really simply, you can spray your canvas down. Go ahead, Eileen.
I was just going to say that, let's say you just have crayons.
Yeah.
I use crayons. I use watercolor crayons and I use watercolor pencils, but I've used plain crayons as well. The paint is amazing to work with, though. You can see.
So you just start with one or two colors, and what this is going to be for you, because you can't get it wrong, right?
Absolutely.
So it's just a meditation, and you can wet the paper with spray, or you can just dip your brush. And what's wonderful about this outline to work with as you're filling in the color is that there's something that happens to us in our physical body and our brain when we're coloring. And this is a kind of a coloring. So my coloring books, which is how I started my business, are used, for example, in lockdown psych wards. If they can get people who are having a psychotic loop to start coloring, they can actually break a loop. And I think that's pretty amazing. If you have people you're working with who are in trauma, kids and such who are not talking, if you could start coloring with them. And it works with pre-existing images, or it also works with images that you have them draw as simple as this. So you can see how this goes. There's almost no technique. It's just wetness and following around the shape, and you could take it all the way around, and you can also then make marks. I worked with my sister who has Lyme. I hate calling it Lyme disease, but and she's lost a lot of people to Lyme, so we made marks for every Lyme. She also made marks for surgeries. Mm-hmm. So whatever comes up in the space of the framework, so we started the framework around what you need to nurture.
Yes.
Right? So as you're choosing to nurture yourself and doing this, other things start to come up about what you want to have included.
Yes.
So you can take it as far as you want from there.
Give me a hug.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, honey. Thank you, everyone, for
us.
joining us. I'm super grateful to have you here, and you can find out more about this work at CosmicCowgirls.com.
Thank you, Shiloh.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I wanted to talk about the medicine wheel, and it's actually one of the concepts that is in the intro to the show. You'll see me, I'm holding a scarf, and that's the air. I'm at the ocean, that's the water. We're on this mountain in San Francisco, that's the land. And at the very end, I hold some burning sage, and that's fire. And that's a Native American belief system. It is about addressing 4 aspects of your life. It actually has many different layers, and also different traditions around the world. There's a circle everywhere, but this is my understanding and interpretation of the medicine wheel, and I apply this in cafe in many different inquiries that I do. So I'm going to start with some paint on my brush, and I'm going to draw a circle because it's all about the circle. And as I said many different times on here, when we're doing creative processes, you don't have to be perfect. So here's the wheel. Some people might call this the wheel of life. I'm going to say this is the north, this is the east, this is the south, and this is the west. So, it made a heart. I like that. In my belief system, the physical aspect, being in your body, being on earth, eating, what it's like when you're sick, everything physical, the things that you own, the place that you live, being in your body. The east, that's intellectual. Your thoughts, your wisdom, your writings, things you read. The south, spiritual. So the element associated with south and spirit is fire. For the east, it's intellect or air. North is earth. Yeah, earth, but physical. And then here, the west, emotion. And the element there is water. So one of the things that I want to do here is, as a practical exercise, is the way I talked about my mantra. So I have vibrant health. And so maybe I want to use, actually I think I'll just use some dots. So, there are different aspects to your health, to like your job, it's how you're supporting yourself. These are all things in the physical realm. Right in the middle of my medicine wheel, I want to put a heart, because this is where I want to practice from. This is the place that has meaning for me. So the intellect, air. I'm just going to put some squiggly lines here, but these are my thoughts, and your thoughts create your world. I just want to reiterate many of the people of wisdom talk about that you need to watch your thoughts. Your perspective, it then creates your life. So you have a choice always to see a situation, either how it's going to hurt you or how this is a help to you. That also, it's not only watch your thoughts, but what's the content you're taking in. I believe that a show like this has a different resonance than a show about killing people or how to figure out how some crime was done. But, you know, everyone has their own thing, but that's mine. I want another color for South. This is creativity. So it's the element of fire. When I address the South, I say I have unlimited creativity. So these are going to represent fire for me because I'm filled with creative fire. And it, well, for me, creating, it just makes life worth living. I love to create in the kitchen. It's how I show love to my family, to my husband, etc. And now here in the West, I'm gonna make stars. You can ask yourself a question. You can use this wheel. I'm just gonna paint in here. You can approach a question, how's this going to affect me emotionally? How am I choosing to look at this? Are there any new ways I need to look at it? Am I stressed in my body? How am I carrying this? Am I just being stressed out all the time? Or am I able to relax in this situation? What are some creative solutions I can come up with? I say that everybody is creative, and I completely believe that, because just to get to work and do your job and meet your goals or whatever, you have to come up with all kinds of creative ideas. Like, let's say you're under stress at work or whatever, but at work there's all kinds of emotional satisfaction that you can have by working with others as a team to reach a goal. This is just a little example of how you can use the medicine wheel to think about things in your life. Next week, Carol Thomasy will lead us in a delightful tiptoe through her garden as we explore goddess spirituality.